Amandla Stenberg, whose pronouns are she, they, just did a huge pushback against racist Star Wars fans, which at this point it feels like it's almost all white Star Wars fans, and the raccoons who tell them their racism is just fine. So she released a rap song called DISCOURSE, explicitly pushing back against the color challenge monsters who have been sending her hate, death threats, and threats of sexual assault. Because their Trump-supporting hearts can't stand the idea of anyone but a white man starring in a Star Wars anything, no matter how bad Solo did. Is DISCOURSE good? It's okay. It's a bit of a bop. I don't see it winning any Grammys, but that's not the point. We'll get to the point. It really pissed them off, so they might, send her hatred and death threats and threats of sexual assault like they've been doing since she was a child. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned what her pronouns was because that pisses them off because, seriously, fuck those guys. And DISCOURSE does all the things. It calls out the racist Star Wars fans. It calls out the racism in the media and how they're covering it. It calls out the paper-colored, cross-burning Trump supporters that make YouTube videos. The same kind of people who have been sending her hate threats and death threats and threats of sexual assault since the Hunger Games. Now, in case you don't know, back in 2012, in the Hunger Games, Amandla Stenberg played a character called Rue. The same kind of palm-colored predators sent this girl at 14 years old hate, death threats, and threats of sexual assault for playing a character they perceived as white, even though she was not described as white in the books, even though the fucking author came out and said she had always intended for Rue and her brother to be from a district that is mostly black. But back in 2012, they did not stop the usual future MAGA members for once again sending her hate, death threats, and threats of sexual assault. Like they're doing now. But this is not the only time these melanin-deficient family fuckers did this type of thing. They sent hate at John Boyega when it was revealed he was going to be one of the main characters in the last Star Wars trilogy. They did exactly the same thing to Kelly Marie Tran when they found out that she was going to be a supporting character in the second movie of that same trilogy. They did the same thing to Moses Ingram for committing the crime of starring in a Star Wars show. Because monsters do what monsters do. Amandla Stenberg released it on Instagram, then immediately copyrighted it, so if these assholes played it, she could sue the shit out of them. I swear, I love that young sister. On that same post, she gave them 72 hours to vent their racism. And venting their racism, they are doing right now. Now, as to if it's good, I'm afraid that's not the point. I will always remember the lyrics, but I played it a lot and, woke as fuck. But the point is, it should be supported. Because most importantly, and I say this again, with as much respect as I can muster for these 40-year-old incels, fuck these guys. Support black women, support Amandla Stenberg, and don't let a bunch of people who supported January 6th have the first or last word, ever, about anything.